Welcome everyone to A Squared Cup Series action at Dover. I'm Clayton Hardy. Got about 10 minutes and change left in practice for qualifying begins. Looking at the top of the leaderboard, Seth Wanzing. Really pretty straightforward and be pretty direct. I'll be talking on and off throughout this stream. Currently battling COVID again, so tonight's gonna be an interesting night at the very least. So if I have to step away, you know why. Less than 10 minutes remaining. Donald Ray, 4th fastest. Toby Estes, 5th fastest. "24 drivers so far in the event, which means everyone will take part in this race. The question is, where's everyone to start? Less than 8 minutes left in practice. Looking at Tom Sears, he is P9 at the moment. Again, for those that are just now jumping in, being completely straightforward and honest, I'm battling COVID at the moment, so I'll be on and off throughout the race as I bring everyone the coverage. I am doing okay, but the sore throat does limit some things, so bear with me for tonight. Just going to shout out, Seth Wansing has already run 200 laps in practice. He's run a full race distance in practice. Trying to figure out the limits of that number 9. Yeah, we're in the last few minutes of practice here. Everyone's in the driver's meeting now. And for those that are just jumping in, my talk could be on and off throughout this event. Battling COVID, dealing with a sore throat. Otherwise, doing alright, but with a sore throat and an occasional cough, sometimes I'll have to step away and not annoy everyone with all of that. Seth Wansing, top of the board. 22.86 was his best lap. Noah Belleville in second, Josh Damon third, Donald Ray fourth, Toby Estes rounding out the top five. "24 drivers in this field, which means all the drivers will take part in the main event. It's just a matter of figuring out where everyone's going to start. And we'll start that process here in just a couple minutes. Alrighty, qualifying about to be underway here. A couple cars already about to start their runs, beginning with Jimmy Breo. Even multiple drivers on track, so we're going to see times set pretty quickly here. Again, we're looking at Jeremy Breo. He's won 4 races so far in 2022. Another new look for him. The inside driver sets provisional pole. Seth Wansing goes a little bit quicker. Number 9 was fastest in practice. Can Breo match or beat Seth Wansing? Got a little bit looser out of turn 4. Not enough to beat Wansing. Trey Kirk next on those that have yet to set a lap time yet. He's on his first time lap. See what the number 66 can do. Leads the first lap. 23.68 puts him 13th. Draker also pushes it really wide. Gains more time though. 8th place, 23.21. Patrick Allen next. He's setting his final lap. What's it good enough for? 17th. Tommy Withers just started his first flying lap. What is it good for? 15th, 23.4. Does he improve on this lap? He does. He improved by a 10th up to the 13th spot. Probably right on his second lap. From the 18th, what does this lap put him? Moves him all the way up to 11th. Not a bad job there. Twenty-two drivers, Neil, Pete Woodrum, and Ben Choate electing not to run lap times here at Dover. So 26, actually John Smith, I believe, is on pit lane now. He is on pit lane. He hasn't moved yet, but he is on pit lane. There he goes. He'll do his timed run here. Alrighty, 23 cars set. Qualifying lap times. John Smeal was 12th fastest there. Front row looks set to be Wanzing and Gaiman. Front row is locked in. They don't have to worry about the heat races coming up. The other 24 drivers will have to use the heat races to determine where they're going to start. Alrighty, here's the starting grid as we get ready to roll here at Dover for heat race number 1 of 2, and then we'll have a last chance qualifier. Toby Estes will be on the front row alongside Noah Belleville. James Kerr and Trey Kirk make up row number 2. Bradley Wright and Alex Jimkowski in row 3. Row 4 for Ryan Pinnell and Rich Catania. Row 5, Terry Gabbard and Tyler Patterson, while Patrick Allen and Pete Woodrum make up row number 6. car heat race number 1. There'll be a 12-car heat race number 2. Ten-lap heat race. Top 7 lock themselves in. This is for the inside rows of rows 2 through 7, so I believe the top 6 actually lock themselves in. But it's Estes, Belleville, Kirk, and Kerr. Green flag in the air. We're underway at Dover for the first time. And Estes with a really quick breakaway. Pretty easy start to this heat race. Right now, Estes has got a pretty good breakaway. Belleville sitting second, Kirk in third. James Kerr, who's center of your screen, that's 75, is in fourth. Oh, 2 cars in the wall. Tyler Patterson's one of them, so is Rick Catania. And Patrick Allen spins. He crashes hard. Here is your race leader. WSD is in control of this heat race so far. A second point 2 to Noah Belleville in second. Bradley Wright is now leading the chain. Third through seventh. It's Wright, Kurt, Kerr, Pinnell, and Jimkowski in this row. Again, top 6 lock themselves in to the main event. Oh, that's almost trouble. And it is trouble. It's Pinnell and Kerr spinning. That drops Kerr down to 9th. Jimkowski, the biggest benefiter of it, moves himself up to 5th. Now he's got a fend off from Terry Gabbard and Ryan Pinnell, who also survived that incident. Oh, Gabbard just touched Jimkowski. Terry Gabbard just put the bumper on Jimkowski. And it's dropped Jimkowski in the 7th. Watching Jimkowski as top 6 lock themselves in. Here's the grid for heat race number 2. Jason Alexander, Jeremy Breo, Donald Ray, Jacob Blankenship, Elrich George, Sean Smeal make up the top 6. Connor Withers and Davey Halk make up row number 4. Kevin Feemster and Jonathan Homebrink occupy row 5. The last row of the grid, they did not set a lap time in qualifying. It's Tom Sears and Ben Cho. They are rolling on the formation lap here. And Alexander on pole for race number 2. Alexander, Breo, Blanchard, Ray, top 4. Top 6 lock themselves in to the outside of the rows for the main event. Who's it gonna be? Green flag in the air. We're racing for race number 2. Ray and Breo side by side. Ray's gonna take the second spot. In instant trouble, John Smeal and Jonathan Homebrink. Somehow Jacob Blanchard avoided all of that. He sits in 4th at the moment. Howard George occupying the top 5 for the first time. Trying to stay ahead of Tommy Withers here. This time in the A Square Cup Series, Albert Short does not finish top 6 in the heat race. Oh, Sears got turned. Sears got turned. It's Kevin Feebster involved as well. George just got passed by Withers. Real good story happening right here. As Withers actually drifts up, George takes 5th back. And Davey Houck takes 6th away. Battle for the last transfer spot, heating up. George in 5th, Houck in the last transfer spot at 6th, battling now with Withers and Choate. Side by side out of 4. Close, you want it. 4 to go. No, Smeal hit the wall. It was. Withers almost hit the wall too, side by side with Davey Houck. Three to go. Withers drops down to 8th. Houck in the last transfer spot in 6th. Two laps to go. Jason Alexander pretty well in charge of this one. And Donald Ray, Jim Breo, Jacob Blanchard. And it's Irish George leading the way for those that are trying to lock themselves in. Last lap here at Dover for heat race number 2. Alexander crosses the line as the race winner. Bray 2nd, Breo 3rd, Blankenship 4th. It's the race to the line. George and Houck take the last 2 spots. Ben Choate couldn't take 6th away from Davey Houck. Dobie on the outside front row with the last chance qualifier. Here's the starting group, the last chance qualifier. It's Jimkowski, Cho, Kerr, Withers, then Patterson, Sears, Honebrink, Allen, Catania, Smeal, Pete Woodrum, and Kevin Feemster. Again, 26 entries. Everyone gets to start the race. It's just a matter of where you're going to start the race in. Winner of the last chance qualifier starts the race in the 15th starting position, and everyone starting going on down will round out the field. But the formation lap begins. All right, pace car is in. And we are racing for the last chance qualifier. Amelia bump draft there from Kerr to Jimkowski. Jimkowski left on the inside lane on his own. See Tom Sears in that yellow and black, number 14. Sitting in fourth. Yes, still battling through the inside lane. We'll actually get clear of Kerr here as everyone tries to chase down mid-choke. The car, they got loose on the bottom. That was Honebrink. Saved it. But a scary moment out of the backstretch in the turn 2. Jimkowski battling for the race lead now over Choate. And he takes it away. Choate swaps the inside lane. Over under here at Dover. And Choate takes the lead back. Oh, Choate spins and grabs Sears, and Jimkowski spins as well. That moves Catania, and Catania's crashed with Patterson. Sears back to the front temporarily. Spiel's gonna slip by and take the lead. Everyone's spinning like there's oil on track. Spiel gets the bumper from Feemster. Sears still in the mix. 6 to go. Bit of a door bump there with Feemster and Smeal. Sears goes by for second. 5 to go. That was the turn of events. 4 to go. Feemster beginning to pull a little bit of gap over Tom Sears. There you go. Feemster still leading. It's by about 7/10. The gap is opening up. Smeal further down in third. Patterson fourth. Kerr fifth. Humphrey sixth, and it's Catania and Jabkowski. Last car's on the lead lap. Choate Withers in the pit lane. They are accepting where their starting position is going to end up being. One lap to go in the last chance qualifier. Coming to the checkered flag, it's going to be Kevin Feemster winning the last chance qualifier. He'll start 15th. Sears will finish second. He'll start in 16th on the row 8. As we get ready for now the main event, the 200 lap race here at Dover. Now we've got everyone's positions figured out. We're going to have a one-up session to figure it all out. We don't have a grid set up just yet. We'll have to go over that here in just a moment when it pops up. Alrighty. Now it's time for the main event. Here's how the grid lines up here at Dover. It's Seth Wansing over Joshua Gaiman on the front row. They lock themselves in qualifying. Toby Estes and Jason Alexander make up row 2. Then it's Noah Belleville in row 3 alongside Donald Ray. Riley Wright and Jeremy Breo in row 4. Row 5 for Trey Kirk and Jacob Blankenship. Row 6, Terry Gabbard and Elwich George. For George, it's his best starting position ever in the series. Row 7, it's Ryan Pinnell and Davey Houck. We have Kevin Feemster and Tom Sears in row 8. Row 9 for John Smeal and James Kerr. Tyler Patterson and Rich Catania make up row 10. Row 11 for Alex Jemkowski and Jonathan Hohenbrink. Tommy Withers and Ben Choate in row 12. Row 13, Patrick Allen and Pete Woodruff. We watch the drivers begin the formation lap here at Dover. It's the Monster Mile, 200 laps. We've seen drivers struggle, but we've also seen drivers shine. The question remains, who's going to shine the brightest here when the main event gets underway? 200 laps, 200 miles in Dover, Delaware. Wansing, Gaiman, Estes, and Belleville. Pace car is in. Green flag is in the air. We are underway here at Dover. Already a car getting loose. That was Breo. And Breo's backwards. Withers also got loose. Breo's the one that ended up backwards. Not the way the four-time race winner was expecting that one to go. Gaiman gets loose. A good save there for Gaiman, kept it off the wall. But he'll also lose spots. He's going to go all the way back down to the 19th position, maybe 20th. I said the one thing holds on to the race lead. He's put Jerry Breo a lap down. As Breo gets loose again and tags the pit wall. His race is going from bad to worse. He stays on the apron as the rest of the field goes by. He'll probably be coming down a pit lane here. Breo, it's going to be really tough to get back from this. stage break isn't until lap 60. So far, everyone's doing a really good job of kind of putting it together. As I say that, there's an accident. Tom Sears is in it. I believe it's Rich Catania. First caution on lap 8. Here's why. Oh, Zimkowski hit the wall and just collected Series Z. Tommy Williams was also involved. Tanya, he got the piece of it. So that will bail out Jeremy Breo here a little bit. Breo will get a lucky dog. But he should get back on lead lap here. Maybe not. No, Blankenship will get the lucky dog. Interesting. So Brea must have got a piece of that that accident. So Blankenship will get the lucky dog, and he'll get back on the lead lap. And that puts Breo and Catania a lap down. But now Breo and Catania can pit and get repairs without losing more laps. About to restart here after the first caution for an accident involving Alex Zimkowski, Tom Sears, Tommy Withers, Rich Catania, and others. It's Swansea still ahead of Don Ray, Toby Estes, and Terry Gabbard. Wanzing goes. Green flag back in the air. Underway once again at Dover. Uh-oh, another yellow. Jimkowski's in it. Gaiman's in it. Trey Kirk is in it. Here's what happened, because they brought those three cars to a dead stop. Oh, Jimkowski got really loose and spun it. Kirk had nowhere to go. Gaiman was right behind him, so he couldn't go anywhere. And all three cars just found their way to the inside wall here. That's rough. See if we can get a better angle of it. See the 99 just step out loose in the overcorrection. And just like that. A nasty hit for Gaiman in that 61. So this should put Breo back on the lead lap. There he is. He is getting the lucky dog. He is getting the way by. So that puts him on the lead lap. He'll be 23rd. Under our second caution of the night for an accident involving Alex Jimkowski, Joshua Gaiman, and Trey Kirk. Green flag back in the air. It's Wanzing, Don Ray, and Toby Estes battling at the front of the field. Gabbard battling for 4th place with Alexander, as Ray drops to 3rd. So for the back, Kevin Feimster in the 6th spot, Bradley Wright in 7th, John Smeal in 8th. In 9th place, Ryan Pinnell, 10th place, Davey Houck, and that's where the floodgates begin. Patterson, Choate, Belleville, Curb, Honebrick, Sears, all in this pack. Like there's trouble for Patterson. There is trouble for Patterson. Patterson is slow in turn 1. And the leaders coming out of turn 2. They're going to catch up to Patterson quickly. Something to kind of keep an eye out on at the moment. In 11th sits James Kerr. He is the highest up driver that has pit so far this race. The top 10 is not pit at all yet. After 25 laps, Kerr put on lap 9. 9 laps doesn't seem like a big deal, but at the end of this run, if we have a good green flag run going, which it looks like it might, those extra 9 laps could be beneficial to James Kerr, especially as we approach the stage 1 break on lap 60. Something to kind of keep in mind, James Kerr on lap 9, Tom Sears on lap 10. They are 10th and 11th at the moment. They've both gotten around Davey Houck. Again, looking at the race leader, Toby Estes. We had Donald Ray and Seth Wanzing at the moment. As Wanzing and Ray battle, it's opening the gap up a little bit for Estes. So he's enjoying what he's seeing in the rearview mirror. Allows him to focus on what's going on ahead of him. Heading his marks. The gap is now opened up to a second over Donald Ray. Oh, it's Estes putting, I believe that was Tyler Patterson a lap down. In fact, it was. I should put him 2 laps down, I believe. Yellow's out. Not sure why. I think we're going to kind of just chalk this up to a competition yellow, is essentially what's going on here. Lap 35 halfway, a little over halfway to stage 1. I believe we just got a competition yellow. And SD decides they stay out. Alright. Interesting. Gabbard came in. He was the only taker. Looks like Ben Choate coming, aside from Gabbard, everyone that's coming in is already outside the top 12. Choate, Hohenbrink, George, Withers all came in. Only 5 takers. Interesting. So a lot of drivers trying to see these sets of tires out until the end of stage 1. After the third caution of the race, this one was the competition yellow. We're about to go back at it. At 38 at 200. 23 cars still rolling. We're back at it. Racing underway here at Dover. Yassie's out front. Wansing and Ray battling for P2 once again. Beanstra, Alexander, and Pinnell make up top 6. We're on lap 40. Stage break is on lap 60. It's SD's Ray, Wansing, Alexander top 4. Beamster holding on to 5th spot. And now in 6th, 7th for Tom Sears. Yeah, Breo in 8th. 9th for James Kerr. 10th, Joshua Damon. Nice cover for him after what happened at the start of the race. Oh, it's a car spine. That's Pinnell. Are they going to keep it green? They will keep it green. We saw latency begin to be a factor for that number 12, and now he is wrecked at the back of the field, 21st for Pinnell. Estes has checked out. 2.4, the gap between Estes and Donald Ray. Ray and Wansing battling side by side. The more they battle like this, the more time they're going to give up to Estes here. See Wansing. Alright, moving the inside out again is Donald Ray. Big deal. Gap moving up to 3.4 to 3.5. Estes has checked out. Alexander 53. Breo in the 74. Sears in the 14. Wanton goes into the wall. That's Tom Sears. They're trying to force a 3-1 situation, and it didn't work out. Sears in the wall hard. Now he's just got to ride out to the stage break. Amazing that wasn't in that bigger crash. That was a bit unnecessary. That was Patterson on Sears. But Sears is struggling. He's going to hold on for the next 10 laps. Estes has put Pinella a lap down. And the battle for second race is on. Breo was a lap down at one point in this race. Now he's battling for P2. That explains how good Breo is here. Gabbard battling for third. Gabbard pedal lap 35, so he's putting those fresh tires to work and they tackle the wall. Bit overzealous. But those fresh tires still paying off for Gabbard, and he holds on to third place. Again, it's where you want to be at the end of the stage. Top 10 get stage points. Six to go in stage one. We're looking at Gabbard. Sitting at P3. P4 is Donald Ray. Fifth is Seth Wanzing. And it's Kerr, Gaiman, Kirk, and Alexander, and then Jacob Blankenship in 10th. Bit of a line and stern. 4th to 11th, it looks like here, as Alexander tries to make something happen. Alexander Blankenship tries to make something happen against Alexander. That was Gaiman. They got a little bit loose and checked up Trey Kirk. Moved Kirk off that inside line. Might be what Alexander was looking for. As Blankenship made it 3 wide, and now Beeper's going to make it 3 wide for that final stage point. Still 3 wide. This time Ben Choate's in the mix. And Ben Choate's in the wall. So yes, he starts lap 60. End of this lap will be the stage break. 6.3 was the gap between Estes and Breo. Even once Breo got clear of traffic, Estes just opened up the gap more and more and more. And he's going to take stage 1 here when he crosses the line. Breo will come across second, Terry Gabbard to third, fourth for Donald Ray, Wanzing fifth, sixth for James Kerr, Gaiman in seventh, Blankenship 8th, Trey Kirk 9th, and Jason Alexander held on to the last stage point in 10th. 19 cars on the lead lap. Gabbard stays out here, so he'll inherit the lead at the beginning of stage 2. He'll be the only one that stays out, it looks like. Withers comes in. Now it's George. Is there a problem on that number 40 machine? Not sure what's going on there with the number 40. This restart will be interesting. Gabbard's on 30 lap old tires. You have Estes, you have Wanzing, Breo, Kirk, Kerr, Blanchard, Alexander, Choate, Feimster, and Homebrink. Estes quickly dispatches of Gabbard here. Gabbard up the high lane. Not much of a battle there for Wanzing. Oh, there's a crash! Blankenship's in it. That's a pretty substantial one. Ben Choate's in it as well. That's Homebrink, Ben Choate, multiple cars involved. Here's what happened. Legend was on the inside of Feimster. A lot of drivers did a really good job staying out of it. The fact that there's only like 5 cars involved is pretty substantial. Say no, look. This is a little bit closer of a shot. Bradley Wright got a piece of it. Donald Ray did a really good job of avoiding just plowing into the 85. Alright, so we're about to go back green after our 5th caution of the day. A multi-car crash at this part of the track. And it involved Jacob Blankenship, Kevin Feimster, and others. It's Toby Estes and Seth Wansing on the front row to lead us to green. His car is in. Estes go. We're racing once again. So it's Estes, Wansing, Then you have Trey Kirk, Terry Gabbard, Jeremy Breo, James Kerr, top 6. And now it's SD's Wanzing, Kirk Breo, top 4. Battle for P7 between Wright and Gabbard. Gabbard again on the oldest tires in the field at the moment on lap 35 was when he last pit. Everyone else pit at least by the stage breaker later. But Gabbard's sequence strategy actually worked out pretty well. Got him 3rd place in stage 1. So that netted him 8 stage points. That's a car loose. Was that Gabbard? No, it was not Gabbard. Wasn't Hohenbrink. Was it Smeal? We're gonna go back for this one. We saw a car get loose. It might have been Smeal. It was Smeal. No, it wasn't Smeal. It was ahead of him. Oh, it was Feemster. It was Kevin Feemster. Got loose out of 2, right in the front. John Smith was involved, but not his fault. Feemster just got loose, locked it down, and just drifted up across the track. And that, I believe, has ended Feemster's day. We're about to go green after our 6th caution of the day that has seen Kevin Feemster retire in an accident involving both Feemster and John Smeal. Smeal sits in 16th, so he's recovered all right. Green flag back in the air. It's Estes over now Trey Kirk, who was on the inside line. Seth Wansing got left hanging out to dry. Very interesting how both Trey Kirk and Seth Wansing were a lap down at one point. That might be another yellow. Car on the wall. That's James Kerr. Looks like we're staying green. Stage break is at lap 120 to end stage 2. Estes has opened up a 2nd and a 10th over Trey Kirk already. Trying to race away from it. Seth Wansing sitting up in 3rd place. He recovered all right after losing a spot on the restart. Jerry Breo in 4th. Riley Wright in 5th. Joshua Gavin in the 6th spot. A little further down, Jalik Simkowski is in the 10th spot, the 999. As my English fails me, I'm going to blame it on the COVID and just move on. But Simkowski doing a fantastic job so far. Recovered, he's up to 11 spots. Both him and Rich Catania. Catania is actually on the heels of Donald Ray. Follow through underneath Davey Alk. Move up to 8th place. Estes has set the fastest lap of the race at 22.8. Open the gap up to 2.2 over Trey Kirk. We're approaching the halfway point here. We're looking at the battle for second place. Wansing is taking second away from Trey Kirk. But both of them are still 2 seconds adrift of Toby Estes. Race leaders commanded most of this race. He'll start lap 100 here. Half the race gone. 100 laps to go and counting. Stage break is at lap 120, and we have a yellow. And it's for Davey Houck. And there he is. Here's what happened. Oh, yeah, he got into Rich Catania. Multiple cars involved. But Davey really couldn't get spun back going. So they threw the yellow. about to go back to green after our 7th yellow of the race, this time involving Davey Hauk and Rich Catania. Cars still on track. 26 started the event. Green flag back in the air. Toby Estes, another good jump over Seth Wadsing, Trey Kirk, and Jeremy Breo. Joshua Gaiman 5th, Donald Ray in 6th. It's the number 19 that leads the way. Estes has already once again opened up a 1.2 second gap. 11 laps to the end of stage 2. The big question is, at the moment, can anyone stop Toby Estes? Breo sitting in P2. Early on in this race, he was a lap down. He's made his way back to the podium spots. Now his objective is to chase down that number 19 machine at Toby Estes, center of your screen. Yeah, a lot easier said than done. Here's Breo. He's broken away from Donald Ray and Seth Wadsing, who've been battling all race long. Pushing the end of stage 2, it's still Toby Estes leading. The gap is 2.1 between Estes and Breo. Estes is just on a monster roll at the moment. Three to go in stage 2. Last lap in stage 2. 3-second gap between Estes and Breo. Took stage 1. When he comes out of stage 4, he'll be claiming stage 2 and vying for a clean sweep here at Dover. Out of turn 4, it'll be Estes takes stage 2. Ray finishes P3 behind Breo. Monting takes 4th. Gaiman takes 5th. Craig Kirk 6th. Alexander 7th. 8th for Briley Wright. 9th for James Kerr. And Alex Shimkowski finishes 10th. Takes the last stage point in stage 2. All eyes going to be on Toby Estes as pit stops begin for the leaders. So as you can see here, Breo beat Estes out of pit lane. A way better pit stop for Breo than Toby Estes. We'll see if that matters at all. Estes has been the fastest car on track all day. But Breo now has the track position. Could be a different tale here. Hardy is set to begin stage 3. It's Breo, Wanzing, Estes, Catania, Ray. See how this all shakes out? Coming to 76 laps to go here at Dover. Estes cleared Wanzing for second. See if he can get around Jeremy Breo for the race lead. Gonna be an interesting little scuffle here between 74 and the 19. Estes is there, just about he can find a way around him. Oh, Wanzing's in the wall. As Estes goes for the race lead, there's contact between the two leaders. Wanzing's down to 7th. Yellow's out for James Kerr. And here's why. He gets loose on his own out of 2. Spins back in front. It is Gabbard. It's Terry Gabbard. So Breo holds on to the lead. The leaders made contact just before the yellow came out. But Breo holds on to it. We're set to get back to racing after the 9th caution of the race. It's Breo, Ray, Estes, and Briley Wright. Green flag in the air. Back at it here at Dover. Caution's out. And this is why there's a big stack up on the front straightaway out of turn 4. It's Pinnell, Patterson. I wish George was in it as well. But yeah, Pinnell got loose early in the corner and just couldn't save it all the way through. Several cars involved as a result. He lost it really early into the corner, too. There's no look at it. Yeah, he gets loose really early into the corner. Saves it once, gets loose again, and just couldn't completely save it. So, 10th caution of the race. Alrighty. About to go back to green after the 10th caution of the race. Multi-car stack up involving Ryan Pinnell and others. 20 cars still running. Back underway. It's Breo. Now Estes up to P2 immediately. With Rich Catania sitting in P3. This is the battle for the lead between Breo and Estes. Estes has led most of this race. Breo, after a really good pit stop to begin stage 3, firmly has the lead. Surprising nobody, Estes wants it back. Catania is sitting in P3. He's been up and down the field all race long. He's up 17 spots from where he started. He started down in 20th. But he's had himself a very clean race so far. Holding on to that third spot as Estes takes the lead back from Breo. So Catania is still in range here. As the leaders try to battle it out, they'll keep Catania in range. What Catania is hoping for is a little bit more door banging, like what we saw at the coming up to the last caution. Or if we're Breo to tag the wall like that. No, Catania out. They're all going to get by. I believe that's James Kerr. It is. I'm going to put Kerr a lap down. We have a yellow. We have a yellow. Turn 4, Tommy Withers. He's not alone in that either. That's Donald Ray that was also a part of it. Oh, no! And the leaders get tagged in it. So here's what caused the yellow. Ray got loose. Withers was on the bottom. Not really much Withers could do. Yeah, the issue there is this, Ray's trying to get back going again, and he starts rolling, and Catania's thinking he's going to stay down, he's going to move down low. So when Ray starts moving back up again, Catania just kind of, he blocks it down and hits him. And then the rebound off of Catania sends Ray into the path of Wanzing. And it just affects both of them. And that's going to put a damper on Catania's day, because Catania was taken out early on in the race. I'm not sure if he has any fast spurs left or not. I don't know if Seth has any fast spurs or not. Could be a bad day for both of them. Jimkowski comes in the pit lane, so Toby Estes will re-inherit the race lead. Couple cars standing out to get a wave around. That's Gabbard, Blankenship, and James Kerr III. Steve Sombrero choose the bottom lane. Go to Bradley right. So it's going to be on the front row. It's going to be Estes and Trey Kirk, with Breo and Gaiman making up row 2. Row 3 will be Wright and Alexander. Pace cars in. And away we go. Green flag in the air. Side by side, it's Kirk and Breo for P2. Less than 50 laps to go here in Dover. Gaiman lurking in P4. 8 cars on the lead, 9 cars on the lead lap, excuse me. Average George on route for potentially his best finish ever in the series. Just by being persistent. That car is all torn up, but still sitting in the top 10. Does anyone have an answer to Toby Estes, who just set the fastest lap of the race at 22.6? Gap's opened up to 1.4. Estes is on fire. Estes just keeps opening up that gap. 2.5. The Breo's taking second away from Kirk. Damon's still sitting in fourth. Bradley Wright sitting in sixth. Oh! That's Trey Kirk that's tied the wall. Yellow's come out. He tied the wall and immediately got on the brake. Something was immediately wrong with that car. And it caused a lot of the field to check up. So 12th caution of the day. And it's for Trey Kirk. Alright, so a lot of cars still on pit lane here. Donald Ray, Trey Kirk, Terry Gabbard, Jonathan Hunterbrink, Tyler Patterson, all on pit lane. Howard George up to 6th, John Smeal in 7th. Donald Ray and Trey Kirk on the lead lap. That gives us 9 cars on the lead lap, with less than 40 laps to go. Alright, green flag back in the air. We're racing once again. 35 laps to go. Nine cars on the lead lap. Donald Ray got the lucky dog to get back on the lead lap. Toby Estes has led most of this race. I think undisputed, most laps led here. Donald Ray tries to get around John Smeal. This is for 8th place. Irish George sitting in 7th. Barry Breo down in 5th. Tommy Withers in 4th. Josh Gaiman in 3rd. Riley Wright sitting in the 2nd spot. Estes is checked out once again. 2 seconds between Estes and Wright. That's the gap between 1st and 2nd. Riley Wright trying to defend from Gaiman and Withers. Withers battling for P3. Withers in the 6th, Gaiman in the 61. Withers takes 3rd. This is again the battle for third between Withers, Breo, and Gaiman. Bradley Wright is second up the road. Down to 24 laps to go here at Dover. So Breo's caught up a little bit to Bradley Wright. Within a second of Bradley Wright now. Trying to make that a battle for second. Season so put up a 4.5 second gap. Insanity for Estes. One to say that's probably the most dominant performance we've seen so far this season from Toby Estes. You think about all the races that Breo's won this year, I don't think any of them are as dominant as this. Pretty insane what Toby Estes has managed to do today. Podium battlers navigating lap traffic. Lap traffic held up Bradley Wright a little bit. Put Breo and Withers within range to try to battle for that number 2 spot. Donald Ray's into the fray as well. He's sitting in 6th. So it's not over yet for him either. See if Breo can do anything, but Bradley Wright catching up's one thing, passing's another. But he has got up to him. Yeah, this could be the battle for second here. Briley's been giving that inside line a lot of space. And Breo's going to try to take it. Here we go. Breo to the inside. He's going to take second place. With 10 laps to go. Ryan's going to immediately move to the inside again, though. As Donald Ray's moved up to 4th. Where did he come from? Oh, Bradley Wright almost tied Donald Ray. Ray takes 3rd. But Ray's got his sights set on Jeremy Breo. Battle for second as Ray goes to the bottom. Almost lost the car. You can tell how much that Donald Ray's pushing it. Donald Ray to the bottom. 5 laps to go. Ray takes second away. Can Breo respond with 4 laps to go? Toby Estes has a 10-second gap. Here's where Toby Estes is. All by himself. Absolutely ridiculous how quick and how consistent he's been today. 3 to go for the race leader. As Donald Ray begins pulling away with second place. Wait, hold on. Has Estes disconnected? Has Toby Estes disconnected from the race? Are you kidding? Oh my goodness. Donald Ray is going to win this race. Coming to the checkered flag, trying to use the outlaw side line, but Donald Ray wins. I don't think anyone believes what just happened. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. After dominating so much of the race, a disconnection with less than 4 laps to go. Moves Toby Estes from the lead of the race in an almost definitive race win to 11th place. That is as cruel of a fate as you can have it. Oh my goodness. Donald Ray, who opened the season with a win at Daytona, takes his second race win of the season here in Dover. I'm speechless. Wow. Wow, 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 wow. That is wild. We're going to go over the results for you, because I can't believe this one. Donald Ray takes the race win over Jeremy Breo. Riley Wright rounds out the podium. Not how I expected this podium to look, especially with like 10 laps to go. Joshua Gaiman finished 4th. Tommy Withers 5th. Trey Kirkin 6th. Elvis George, his best career finish in the series, he's 7th. John Smealin 8th. Terry Gabbard 9th. Toby Estes rounds out the top 10. Jonathan Homebrink in 11th. Jacob Blankenship 12th. Tyler Patterson in 13th. 14th for James Kerr. Davey Houck in the 15th spot. Alex Jimkowski 16th. 17th Seth Wansing. Jason Alexander in 18th. Then looking down the rest of the order, you have Rich Catania, Ryan Pennell, Kevin Feemster, Ben Choate, Tom Sears, Noah Belleville, Patrick Allen, and Pete Woodrum rounding out the field of 26 here at Dover. That was wild. Wild, wild, wild. My goodness. See if any of our podium finishers are up for an interview after what has been a very crazy race. What do you even say with that? What do you even say about it? Just a crazy race. And trying to see if we can get It's a really bizarre way to end the race at Dover. Doesn't look like anyone's super interested in being interviewed tonight. Obviously, I'm pretty sure the Toby Estes doesn't want to talk about this one at all. I can't imagine. I genuinely just can't imagine what he's feeling right now. That was brutal. That was 100% brutal. Absolutely vicious. And double checking, see if anyone's interested in doing an interview. There we go. We got one. We got Donald Ray, our race winner. There we go. Hey, Donald Ray, Clayton Hardy in the RX booth. You got a copy?
I got you, buddy.
Alrighty, man. Not how anyone expected that race to go, but what a charge back. A lap down with less than 50 to go. Make it all the way back and end up winning the race. How you feeling?
Man, that was it was fortunate there. It's unfortunate for Toby. You know, he dominated that entire race. Probably I'm sure he led the most laps, and he definitely deserved that win. But things happen, and yeah, you're right. I was lap down, was able to get the lucky dog, and saved a fast repair, and had plenty of good tires, and was able to drive my way back up there. And I think on that last restart, I was like 6th or 8th in line there, and just slowly but methodically was able to pick people off, and wouldn't have caught Toby, but we definitely would have been happy with the second place too. But yeah, I'll take the win, bud.
Obviously, it was a rough race. Obviously, you're talking about the accidents there. Everyone had a bit of trouble at some point. How patient did you have to be, especially in the last 50 laps there, having to pick your way through the field?
You definitely got to be patient. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, you're good. I guess my question is because like it seemed like a lot of people were getting loose, trying to get on the throttle too early. Like how was that an issue that everyone was facing? Was it just a really loose setup, or was it people really just being over ambitious today?
It would start off loose, and then it would get kind of tight. It would drive really, really good, and then it would push, but also be loose, especially off of 4 there. You just had to protect, but you had to be patient because a lot of people were overdriving. I overdrove it once off at 2, got into the side of Terry Gabbard there. I'm pretty sure I got into him. I don't think he came down into me, and he got the bad end of that stick and spun, and he didn't have the finish that he deserved either because he was also very fast, very, very fast, especially on a long run. He probably would have been top 5 for sure, top 10 if I hadn't have spun him there earlier on in the race.
So, obviously, you looked in a little bit of luck had to come your way. That's part of racing. When did it kind of come to you that you were racing for the win with Jeremy there? Because obviously, like this all happens in like the last 3 laps of the race. How quickly did it kind of come to you?
I saw it was lap 198, and then I heard Seth ask Toby where he wanted him to go, and then next thing I know, I look at the leaderboard and I'm first, and I was like, holy cow, he lagged out. And so yeah, it was right before I crossed the line on lap 198. So 2 to go is when I knew me and Jeremy was going to be battling for it.
Did you? I asked another question. I'll ask is like, did you see what Jeremy had tried to do in the last corner there? Because he was riding the wall a lot, trying to get up to you there. Obviously, it didn't work out. But I was just wondering if you knew because he was trying to split a 3 wide with you, and I believe it was Hohenbrink.
I think it was Schmiel there, but yeah, he was definitely trying to send it and hope that it would kind of ride the wall there. I think, but I mean, you got to do it, right? I don't blame him. I'd have probably done the same thing.
Yeah, those last 5 laps were absolutely wild. Obviously, we've got Darlington next week. Whether or not you love it or hate it depends on your experiences with it. Now you've got 2 wins in the bag. You've joined the multiple winners club this season. How do you feel going into Darlington, knowing how challenging that track is, knowing how challenging this car has been, trying to go and get a similar result, hopefully minus the journey from a lap down to getting on the podium?
Well, I've been talking all week that I can't wait for next week. Darlington's one of the tracks I look most forward to, and not because it's my favorite track, but just because I'm pretty confident there. I know how to drive that track. I won there earlier this season in our TNT League and ARCA cars, and it's a good track for me, and I really look forward to next week.
Well, Donald, it's fantastic to have you. A top step of the podium, race win for the second time this season. Before we let you go and enjoy the rest of your night, if there's anyone you want to shout out and you want to say thank you to, I know that there's a lot of people here that usually have a list of people that they want to shout out and say thank you to. The floor is yours, man. You've won your second race of the season. Take it away.
I first want to say thanks to you, buddy. I mean, putting up with us and, riding through these races for the duration that they are, and sometimes they're caution fest. It takes commitment to do that, and you do a great job, and we appreciate you and all that you do, and we hope you stay around as long as we race. But a lot of people, the whole ARCS community, we race with a lot of good guys in here, a lot of good people, first and foremost, and we got a lot of fast guys too that I'd put up against some of the best on the platform. But yeah, we appreciate what you do, Clayton.
I appreciate the compliment. I really do. It's been a rough night battling with COVID and trying to get through the night, but I appreciate it very much, Donald. Again, congrats on your second race win of the season. You won Daytona, started off on a high, and now you head into one of your favorite tracks on a high note. So good luck in Darlington. We'll see you then.
And we appreciate you, and get well, buddy.
Thank you. That was our race winner, Donald Ray. So we're gonna talk to second place Jeremy Breo here. So this gonna be interesting. Hey Jeremy, this is Clay from the ARCS Racing booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, I got you, Clayton.
Alrighty, man. Don't think you were this was the way you were expecting to have P2. But a podium's a podium. You took the points lead, I believe, with this. How you feeling?
I'm feeling like I finished fifth there. That's where I should have finished, maybe sixth. I didn't have a very good car, or I just didn't know how to drive it. I think that's it. I didn't know how to drive it. It was tough. I spent a bunch of practice laps in practice earlier trying to figure out what to do, and I finally figured it out with like 10 minutes to go in practice, but that still wasn't fast enough to keep in the top 5, and then I don't even know what the hell happened at the start. I guess it was just a freak accident or net code or something. I don't know what the hell happened, but other than that, I just tried to stay in it after I had to use my fast repair on that first wreck, and stay out of trouble as best as I could, and then we got through all those wrecks, and then that final restart, I got a choose cone penalty and screwed myself pretty bad, and I feel like if I got another caution, I probably could have had something for Toby, maybe on 2 tires for like 2 laps, and then he would have blown around me. But yeah, Toby should have won that race 100%. Sucks that he lagged out at the end there, but I'll take a P2 even if it's just handed to me.
You definitely, if it was for a lack of trying, we saw your final lap there, especially at turn 4. What was so difficult about this car here? Like, obviously, Donald Ray kind of said it was a little bit loose, and then it tightens up, and then it would loosen up at the end of a run. What was so difficult there for you? Was it just that was it a very snappy loose, or was it just one of those things where it just kind of fell away?
I don't know what Jacket was feeling, but I was trying to save my tires the majority of the runs because I knew I couldn't keep up with Toby. Toby was just out of this world fast tonight, and so I was just trying to keep my car under me, and so it would get tighter as the runs would go on. I never got the looseness until about, I don't know, 70 to go, when I got a restart where I could hang with Toby. And I finally caught on to what he was doing. He was sticking the left front under the, I guess there's a seam there or something where the track transitions from the asphalt to the concrete on the banking. And you can stick your left front tire in there and it would turn the car, but it would also keep enough grip in the back so where you could full throttle off the corner. But honestly, I can only do that when I was watching him. And once I lost touch with him or I hit the wall or I couldn't be with him on a restart, I couldn't do that. So honestly, if you couldn't get your left front onto that seam or whatever it was, you probably weren't going to be as fast as Toby.
So it's been a difficult couple races. We're going into another difficult track with Darlington. Obviously you're like didn't feel like it was a top 5 car today, let alone P2. How do you feel going into Darlington next week, knowing it's going to be a lot more challenging? It's going to be a completely different playing field than what we saw here at Dover. How do you rate your chances next week?
Hopefully I can just keep the car out of the wall. That's going to be the main key there. These cars are just so sensitive, and honestly, they're too dainty. You can't hit the wall too many times with them, or they'll give you a meatball, and then you're got to go pit and take your fast repair. And I'm having a feeling that we're not. It's going to be similar to what we saw here. It's just going to be try to survive and keep it out of the wall. Like I'm not too excited about it because I'd rather run the Gen 6 cars there because those things are a lot more fun. But yeah, it's just going to be about survival, and hopefully, I mean, we can come out with another top 5 or top 10 at least. But I'm expecting all but the worst there.
And while we're on it, I think it's a throwback. The throwback races at Darlington, right? So you're the one that typically has the new schemes every week. Are we expecting something a little bit special for Darlington?
It's a fairly recent throwback. It's going to be Taco Bell on the car, so that'll be cool. But like I said, it's gonna be a fairly recent Taco Bell throwback, so people are probably gonna recognize it. If you don't, well, you don't pay attention to the midfield then.
Love it. Can't wait to see it next week. Again, Jeremy, congrats on the P2. Before we let you go and enjoy the rest of your night, if there's anyone you want to kind of shout out, say thank you to, again, you're part of Team Sideswipe. You have an amazing group of guys behind you. If you want to shout anybody out, say thank you to anybody. The floor is yours, man. You're pretty used to this. You know how this goes.
Yeah. Thank you. So I always got to thank John Smeal and April Smeal over at Smeal Racing Designs. They give me the best damn paint schemes on the track every week, so got to thank them. Go to their Facebook, check them out, see if you can get your own schemes. They're pretty cheap, so just check them out. Thank you to Midwest Barbecue and the whole Wansing family. I know had a pretty crappy run tonight, but he was running up there with us, so yeah, thanks to them for sponsoring me, and congratulations to Jacket. I mean, he kind of did back into it, but congratulations to him, and it sucks for Toby that he lost that, and thank you to everybody at Team Sideswipe, and thank you for putting on the broadcast.
I appreciate it, man. Again, congrats on your podium. I believe with that and with your stage points, you took over the points lead from Jacob Blankenship, so even more positives as we head into Darlington. We will see you next week.
All righty. Thank you, buddy.
That was Jeremy Breo. We have 2 more interviews tonight. We're going to talk to third place Bradley Wright, and then we'll talk to Toby Estes here in just a moment. Hey, Bradley, this is Clayton from the Arcs Racing booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, I got you.
Alrighty, man. P3, a difficult race, but definitely made the most of it. How you feeling after tonight?
Yeah, I feel pretty good, I guess. Finished a little better than I thought I was going to, so I guess I'll take that. I just had it from a teammate, Toby. He had it one there, and had some internet issues, so that just kind of sucks for him. I was actually thinking that we'd end up finishing 1-2 there for a little while, but I just didn't have the long run speed and couldn't keep it on the bottom. And oh well, I'll take third though. Just hate it for my teammate.
Honestly, from what I'm hearing at this point is that everyone had a different challenge of some sort. You said you were having trouble keeping on the bottom. Donald Ray said that it was a snappy loose at the start. What was the biggest challenge? Was it too tight for you, or was it just an unpredictable car?
I could fire it off and drive it for about 10 laps, but it seemed like after 10 laps, it's just too hard to push it, I guess. Is if you spin out, then you're just gonna end your day. So uh, just kind of had to after about 10 laps, I just kind of had to take it easy, I guess, and just didn't have the speed.
So, obviously, P3, your teammate, unfortunately didn't have the finish a finish that was obviously deserved. I think he led. I know he led over 100 laps. Going into Darlington, people are trying to kind of say that it's probably gonna be pretty similar. Is there any notes you can take from how this car handled here at Dover and kind of apply it to Darlington, where everyone's gonna be running a little bit higher up on the line by default?
Yeah, it's going to be just as unpredictable. You're just going to have to run a whole lot of laps and just get used to it. And I mean, whenever you get the hang of it, you kind of know where the limit is with the car, then you can kind of stay there. But the thing is the limit is so fine. It's if you overdrive it just a little bit, you're going around. It makes them not fun to drive at all. That's for sure. But it's what we got. So.
So, not sure if we've had a podium interview. I'm not sure if you finished on the podium. I know you've been close.
I got third, Bristol.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you were third at Bristol, yeah.
Yeah.
I was trying to figure out if we had gone through the process before, but anyway. So what we typically do with up here is if you're interviewed, you kind of get the ability to shout out anybody you want to. Obviously, your teammate didn't have the race you wanted, as dominant of a performance as we've seen so far this season. Those last 3 laps, obviously not what anybody wanted. But if there's anyone you wanted to shout out and I want to say thank you to, the floor is yours, man. You got on the podium, P3, in what was a very difficult race for a lot of people. One of the better survivors. That's what matters.
Yeah, just again, shout out to Toby. He's had speed all season long, and I'm just now getting to where I can kind of put a race together and finish up a little better. I just need to just keep practicing with him a little bit more. My speed's getting better. Hopefully, we can kind of start getting to where I'm a little as fast as he is. So we're both competing for wins. But yeah, just shout out to him. Shout out to Bluegrass Bandits, and that's it. We'll go on and see what happens at Darlington.
Before we let you go and enjoy the rest of your evening, Throwback Week's next week at Darlington. You've had a couple of different schemes this season. Are we expecting anything special at Darlington?
Oh yeah, something's going to be special for Darlington. That's for sure. I'm going to have fun with this with the Throwback Weekend. That's for sure.
Alrighty, can't wait to see it. Again, Briley, congrats on your P3 here at Dover. We'll see you next week.
Alrighty, thank you, man, and thank you for the broadcast.
Thank you, I appreciate it. That was P3, Bradley Wright. Now we get to interview, I think, the guy that had the most heartbreak tonight. Toby Estes led the most laps, led over 100 laps, dominated, almost had the clean sweep, stage 1, stage 2, and the race win. Toby, this is Clayton from the Arcs Racing booth. You got a copy?
Sure do. What's up, buddy?
Words I don't think can kind of explain the shock that comes out of it. What happened? What happened to cause the disconnect there with 3 laps to go?
I'm not sure what happened with the disconnect, but I'm truly happy for Briley, man. He's been putting in a ton, and I mean a ton of work. I know he finished a third, I believe, at Bristol, but I mean he's a good dirt guy. But I'm glad to see that he was able to put a race together, especially at the Monster Mile. I mean that's fantastic for him. I wish we could have had Bluegrass Bandits in the top 3. With me with a win, hopefully, and him with third or second. But it didn't happen. But kind of kind of got to have short-term memory loss and just move on to the next week and just race with what we got.
Yeah, it's well, you're kind of the if you didn't have good luck, you'd have no luck at all sort of situation. You've been so close to winning so far this season, and I honestly, you've been so dominant at points that I didn't realize you hadn't had a race win yet this season. With Darlington coming up, obviously you talk about short term memory loss, nailed it right on the head there. With Darlington coming up, knowing how dominant you were tonight, does that give you optimism going into next week, knowing that, okay, I can do this, I can put it all together, I just need to make sure that, or ISP needs to make sure that it gets its act together? Because that was, like, obviously we talk about Breo and how dominant his performances have been. That was arguably the most dominant performance we've seen this year so far. Just wire to wire, no one could touch you. You were opening up, at times, a second a lap gaps, which is insane on a mile oval. Does that give you motivation? Does that give you that encouragement of, okay, I am one of the fastest guys here. It's time to go and win some races.
I mean, yeah, you can say you're one of the fastest guys here, but until you finish a race, I mean, you really can't say nothing. With Dover 1 and 2, I mean, the entire track, man, I was hooked to the bottom. I found there was a seam, I guess you could say, on the inside of the turns, and if you just work the throttle just right and you just stay consistent, it was just. And I saved so much tire. Our teammates, we was talking there at the end of stage 1, I believe, and I was kind of checking the tire wearage, and I think they were close to the 60s, and I was still 84 on my right front and 94 on my right rear. So not only was I faster, I wasn't using as much tire. So I just stuck with the line I was running, and it was paying off, but unfortunately had a little disconnect there at the end, but it is what it is.
So, obviously, you talk about, like, the dominance. Like, so, I guess, how did you find that seam, I guess, would be kind of the interesting question, because when Breo says that he can't follow you, that's says something. How did you find that seam, and just how easy was it for you to sort of just start repeating it? Because it seemed like people were trying to follow you down there, and they just couldn't get a hold of it.
So this is going to sound crazy. It's got a lot of tire wear, obviously. So I just randomly went on YouTube and I watched Kevin Harvick at Atlanta, and he was running the bottom and he was letting out a lot earlier than everybody else and was running the seam and would just kill everybody's time. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to try it. So I tried it during practice, and fortunately it paid off. And I was like, holy crap, I can't believe this is actually working. And that's legitimately what I stuck to. I'm like, I'm going to stick to the bottom. I'm not losing a lot of time on the long run. And it was paying off 100%.
That's interesting. I wouldn't have ever connected Atlanta to Dover. That's crazy. Wow. Okay. Now everyone's gonna go and scour tape. That's what that says.
The only reason why I connected to it is because I ran. I mean, with the next gen, it's like it loses so much right front grip. It's either pushing or it's completely loose. And that's the only reason why I connected the two. I'm like, how can I save my right front to my advantage? And for some weird reason, I just went to Atlanta and watched Kevin Harvick run, and it was just, for some reason it fit, and I stuck to it, and it happened. I mean, I don't know. I don't know how to explain it, but it worked.
Alrighty, that's it's. I mean, you find whatever works and run it. No one could touch you. Obviously, it worked dividends. With Darlington coming up, you're another one of those guys that has some pretty killer liveries. Are you expecting something special for Throwback Week?
Yeah, I've got something in mind. Let's just hope I can keep it off the wall and hopefully stay connected the entire race and see if I can't get a good finish.
Well, you didn't get the finish you wanted, but you dominated the race, led stage 1 and 2, led the most laps, absolutely killed it, absolutely impressive pace. If there's anyone you want to shout out, the floor is yours, man. You definitely earned it.
I mean, first and foremost, kind of like what Donald Ray said, man, shout out to you guys. I really do not know how you guys keep up with the race. I would run out of things to talk to within the first 5 minutes. Huge shout out to you guys. All the admins, my teammates, of course, Bluegrass Bandits. I hated that Riggs wasn't here tonight. Glad to see Briley get a good finish. I mean, at the end of the day, hopefully we can get a top podium finish with a couple more Bluegrass Bandits in one time.
Well, obviously not the result you wanted, but a lot of things to be kind of positive about going into Darlington. Again, we'll see you in Darlington. Hopefully you have better luck, and hopefully we can see you at the top of the podium.
Yeah, I hope so. Thank you, Clayton.
Thank you. Have a good night. Alrighty, we're going to double check things real quick. Again, the leaderboard is on the left-hand side of your screen. We're going to take a second and figure out stuff here. Again, we're going to go over the results again one more time for everyone that missed it as soon as the race ended. Here's what it looks like. Again, Donald Ray, your race winner here at Dover. Jeremy Breo finishing second, probably right in P3. Fourth for Joshua Gaiman. Fifth for Tommy Withers. Trey Kirk came home in sixth. Elrich George with his best career finish in A squared, finishing in the 7th position. John Smeal in 8th. Terry Gabbard in 9th. Toby Estes in 10th. After a disappointing disconnect with 3 laps to go, still scored a top 10 finish over Jonathan Homebrink. Jacob Blanchip in 12th. Tyler Patterson in 13th. James Kerr in 14th. 15th for Davey Halk. 16th for Alex Jimkowski. Seth Wansing ending up 17th, being taken out by lap traffic. Actually, I think it was by Donald Ray after he got hit by Rich Catania with 40 laps to go. Not the race he was looking forward to. Jason Alexander in the 18th spot. Then you have Rich Catania in 19th, Ryan Pinnell 20th, Kevin Feemster 21st, Ben Choate 22nd, Tom Sears down in 23rd, 24th for Noah Belleville, Patrick Allen 25th, and Pete Woodrum 26th. That is your results here from Dover. Thank you all for tuning in to the Darkside Mustangs A Squared Cup Series here at Dover. Next week, we head to the Lady in Black. It's going to be Darlington Raceway. Throwback week. We're going to see some pretty cool liveries. Going to see a lot more challenges ahead for these drivers. Donald Ray, second race win of the season over Jeremy Breo and Briley Wright. We'll see who can get themselves into victory lane next week at Darlington. Again, for those that tuned in, thank you for spending a part of your Sunday evening with us. Until then, I'm Clayton Hardy. Thank you all for tuning in. Until next time, stay safe, stay healthy, have some fun, enjoy